Hello, dear e-learners. Today we start the second lecture about the history of scientific publication. This lecture will share an interesting story, the story of Emerald, the story of scientific publication. The early journals published papers that can call descriptive in nature. Uh, Generally, a scientist in those early days reported his research in a fashion that firstly I saw this and then I saw that, and or firstly I did this and then I did that. So he basically reported his observations in a simple chronological order. But with the passage of time, methodology became all important. So it's a new realization. With the passage of time, people realized. And in this era, especially, we mention Louis Pasteur, because to quiet his critics, who were believers in the theory of spontaneous generation, this famous French biologist and chemist found that it is necessary to describe his experiments in complete detail. So the methods, or we can say the materials and methods section, became very important. We further continue with the Emerald story because a reasonably competent peers could reproduce Louis Pasteur's experiments. The principle of reproducibility for experiments became a standard, and separate methods section, as we have said earlier in the previous slide, led the way towards the this highly structured Emerald format that we have today. Money produced science, and science produced papers, lots of them. The results was powerful pressure on the existing and many new journals. Journal editors began to demand that manuscripts be concisely written, and those pieces should be well organized. So, conciseness and organization, two important features. And journal space also became very costly, and it should not be wasted on verbosity or redundancy. So, in this slide, we are highlighting this highly structured Emerald format that I stands for introduction, then comes methods, after that results follow, and finally we have the discussion and the conclusion of the scientific publication. Okay guys, the Emerald story. It's basically slowly progressed, but now it became universal. Because editors espoused Emerald because they became convinced that it is the simplest and the logical way to communicate research results. And many others just hopped on the bandwagon because the rigidity and the structure of Emerald certainly saved space and expense, as well as Emerald made life easier for editors, associate editors, and reviewers. And obviously, last but not the least, the readers. The logic of Emerald can be defined in question form. So this is very important. Uh, the picture we have shown in this particular slide, or the certain questions. Okay, what question problem was studied? This answer is provided in the introduction section. How was the problem studied? The answer is the methods section. What were the findings? The answer is the results section. What do these findings mean? The answer is the discussion section. So guys, this is a little and very brief and I hope so organized history of scientific publication, the Emerald story.